You are braver than you believe, and stranger than you seem, smarter than you think. A very warm good afternoon to everyone. Today, we all gather here in this online platform for a book launch conducted by Readers and Writers Club of St. Thomas College, Thrissur, entitled as Shakespeare in the Age of COVID-19 Poems and Flash Fiction by Young Indians. It is a diverse collection, encompasses the creative output of 15 young writers across the country. The book will be launched by Dr. Christine Williams, Director of Sydney School of Arts and Humanities. So, I welcome you all to this grand occasion. So, now let's begin our session. At first, I would like to welcome Dr. MJ Viju, Club Coordinator, for the welcome speech.
A very good afternoon to all. Being coordinator of Readers and Writers Club of St. Thomas College, Autonomous Thrissur, I am so honored to welcome you all on this special occasion of the launch of the book entitled Shakespeare in the Age of COVID-19, which comprises poems and flash fiction of 50 young writers across the country. And these writings were selected through the online poetry and flash fiction competition conducted by the club in April 2019, while the whole country was in lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic, and more than 250 young minds of India responded to this competition. I take this opportunity to appreciate and welcome all these young writers to this book launch function, as it is their contribution to the world. It is also my great privilege to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Christine Williams from Australia, who has consented to launch the book virtually. She is the director of Sydney School of Humanities. She is a creative writer and teaches creative writing. She is the author of 4 biographical works and a short story collection. With all gratitude, on behalf of St. Thomas College fraternity and Readers and Writers Club members, I cordially welcome our chief guest, Dr. Christine Williams, to this August online gathering. I am also happy to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Joy Kayal, for his constant support to the club activities and also for presiding over this function. Also, hearty welcome to our vice principals, Reverend Dr. Martin Columbrath, Dr. Joby Thomas, Reverend Dr. Sister Alfonso Matthew, all faculty members, non-teaching staff, and student community to this book launch program. Let me specially welcome the prize winners of our online writing competition, Ms. Jayasri Kirti, Ms. Prasad Mohandas, Ms. Vasundhara Giriprasad, who got first, second, and third places respectively. Last but not least, I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Sham Sudagar, my colleague, joint coordinator of the club, and young poet, for being the editor of this book and taking his effort to invite Dr. Christine Williams to this function. Once again, welcome you all and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. K.L. Joy, Principal of St. Thomas College, Thrissur, for the presidential address.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to all. Are you audible to me? Audible? Hello? Audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is indeed a happy occasion for our college. As we all know, ours is a prestigious college that celebrated its centenary last year, has been nationally accredited with A grade, a college with the potential for excellence, and has received 63rd position in NIRF ranking 2020. The Readers and Writers Club of our college has been very active over the past few years with various publications and creative workshops. Today, we have gathered here for the launch of the club's latest book, Shakespeare in the Age of COVID-19, a poems and flash fiction by young Indians. I believe such works of art would definitely be a ray of hope in these troubled times. I am very happy to see that this book has incorporated the work of 50 young writers from various states across the country, elevating it to a national level venture. We have the esteemed presence of our chief guest, Dr. Christine Williams, Director, Sydney School of Arts and Humanities, Sydney. We are delighted to have you here, ma'am. I would like to congratulate the winners of the poetry and flash fiction competition. Here we have with us Miss K. Jayasri Kirti, Mr. Pranav Mohandas, and Miss Vasundhara Giriprasad, who have secured first, second, and third respectively. I wish all the talented young writers present here the very best in all their future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now here we have the winners of the All India Online Poetry and Flash Fiction Competition. So let's listen a few words from them. So at first I'd like to welcome the first prize winner, K. Jayasri Kirti, and her work entitled as The Art Heaven. She is a student from Mercy College, Palakkad. So Jayasri, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, honorable dignitaries and virtual participants of this book launch. I am Jayashree Kirti, an undergraduate student pursuing English literature at Mercy College, Palakkad. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Readers and Writers Club of St. Thomas College, Thrissur, for giving young writers across India a platform to express their writing talents during this unprecedented time. I would also like to thank my family and my professors for their support and guidance. From the moment I read the theme, Shakespeare in the age of COVID-19, I couldn't resist the urge to participate in the event. Refashioning Shakespearean characters and bringing them to life to this COVID driven world made me realize the immortality and timelessness of these characters, and it also helped me survive quarantine. I would once again like to thank everyone for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be part of this virtual book launch. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayasri. Now I would like to welcome second prize winner Pranav Mohandas and his poetry entitled as Finally Shakespeare and His Pen. He is a student from Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kaladi, Kerala.
Greetings, everyone. It's my privilege to be part of a competition conducted by the Readers and Writers Club of St. Thomas College, Thrissur. When I have seen about the theme for the program, the writing section, I thought of many things about Shakespeare. And what are the things come to my mind how can I be able to write the things which is coming to my mind and make them understand the things? So I plan to go through the tragedies penned by Shakespeare, and I wrote a poem of 14 lines comprising the style of Shakespeare. It's a Shakespearean sonnet style, and it was named Shakespeare and His Pen. The theme of the poem is how to survive that Shakespeare and his characters survived these much years, more than centuries. So likewise, we are in a pandemic stage and we have to overcome this situation. So it is necessary for us to overcome like Shakespeare. So I'm extremely happy to be a part of this book launch, and it's my privilege to be part of this one. And also, I want to extend my wholehearted thanks to all the dignitaries and all the members of the Readers and Writers Club. And also, I extend my sincere thanks to all the guys. And also, I extend my happiness to everyone who is a part of this book launch. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. Now I would like to welcome the third prize winner, Vasundhara Giriprasad, and her work entitled as WhatsApp Group Beware the Idea of March 2020. She is a final year UD student in English Literature at PSGR Krishnamal College, Coimbatore.
Very good afternoon to all. Thank you for all the teachers and representatives for choosing my work. So once I came across the theme, I was very intrigued to start writing it. And most of the time, in these times, we were living on the WhatsApp group chats, and most of our conversations were based on that. So after I thought, after seeing the theme, I thought why not make a reconstruction of all the dialogues that Shakespeare has mentioned through the characters. So it has special mentions of the trends that were going on Instagram and on WhatsApp, like TikTok and Dalgona Coffee and Money Heist. So it was just a funny compilation of all the conversations that Shakespeare's characters had into a reconstructed modern way. So I'd like to thank all the teachers, students, and the representative for choosing my work, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Four biographical works and a short story collection. She wrote the first biography of novelist Christina Stead and has had work published in Australia, the United States, England, and India. She has a special interest in memoir, relationships, and identity in life writing, having researched the life of the Indian philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti for her doctorate of creative arts from the University of Technology, Sydney. She also holds a Master of Arts from the University of Sydney. Writing across a range of genres, Dr. Williams had won a state history fellowship and has had a number of short stories published in academic journals and the mainstream media. She teaches creative writing and memoir classes and is currently working on a novel set in India to be published next year. So, ma'am, please.
Great pleasure to be invited to launch this book today, Shakespeare in the Age of COVID-19, Poems and Flash Fiction by Young Indians. So, showcasing the work of 50 young people, I understand, who all display some proficiency in crafting poetry and story, according to what I've read from the book. One doesn't speak of a career in poetry or short story or flash fiction writing, except for the very few elevated to poet laureate or similar. So you're getting this message? Is it okay? Can you see me? Someone reply, and then I'm happy to go on. Yes?
Hello, Kasim. I think
So,
yeah.
So shall I start again? I might start again. Yes? All right. Okay, so here we go. It gives me great pleasure to be invited to launch this special anthology, Shakespeare in the Age of COVID-19, Poems and Flash Fiction by Young Indians, showcasing the work of 50 young people who all display some proficiency in crafting poetry and story. One doesn't speak of a career in poetry or short story flash fiction writing, except for the very few elevated to poet laureate or similar. Yet writing poetry, and even the most brief of short stories, is one of the most meticulous activities known to humankind, and it can be very hard work. Each one of us has the capacity of feeling, the inkling to put down one's philosophical thoughts, time found to do so, but so few even try to write poetry or story in such a disciplined way, let alone reach any great height in the craft as to write a truly memorable poem that will outlive us all, as Shakespeare did. He achieved this recognition not only for his poetry, sonnets, many of which have stood the test of time, for lovers even in far-flung parts of the world, but also for other forms of writing, not least his theatre scripts, which have been performed in amateur or professional theatre in most countries of the world, and chameleon-like transformed into film. Then, after the plays themselves have been the subjects of cinema productions, their author has come under the movie microscope in comedy, as in Shakespeare in Love, the film, then a TV series, All Is True, and back to cinema for a film called Upstart Crow, the story of Shakespeare's life in retirement and with problems on the domestic front, all, of course, finally resolved, just as Shakespeare's complex plots always finally reached resolution. Last year, in an interview with the Guardian newspaper, Ben Elton, the director of the film Upstart Crow, said he saw Shakespeare as the perfect sitcom character, and I quote, "He was an overworked commuter, a self-made man who was sneered at by the posh boys. They called him Upstart. A social climber. He bought his family a coat of arms, which was kind of the customised number plate of his day. He was a family man with a long-suffering wife, a teenage daughter, a posh mum who married beneath her, and a deeply dodgy dad. Good sitcom character? Duh. In other words, of course." And so Ben Elton created a very amusing film based on his interpretation of what the real Shakespeare was like. So it's most appropriate that Shakespeare and his legacy, his grand portfolio of published works, were settled upon as the subject of this collection. Just as Chandra Mohan has chosen 3 poems for some praise in the introduction to the book, I may choose several poems or pieces now for special mention here, without, of course, casting any negativity on those not selected, since they all have merit. In the introduction to this landmark collection, a self-reflection of social mayhem and radical change in real time, written by the youth who will inherit the outcomes of the pandemic. Chandra Mohan points to a poem by Madhu Raghavendra about the importance of art in such a confronting period as this, when we neglect the finer arts in favour of fear of fatality, rampant disputation and despair, and sheer survival. It's a poem which ends with the words, "Art is non-essential until it is not," because we ignore the arts and humanities at our peril. To overcome the virus, we need medicine as far as it's able to help, and we don't have the greatest help yet, that is a COVID-19 vaccine. But we also need the arts in order to face the pressing existential questions now brought into our own villages, city apartment blocks, our families and ourselves. Questions which in normal times we can mostly keep at bay until we hope we'll live out our 70 years and 10. As AKV Kiruba Lakshmi writes in Taming of Our Crew, published here, the quote is, "Catherine never bowed to anyone. Man lived on earth as if he was the only one." We're all confident in our self-image, fit, healthy, strong-minded, speaking out, until we're not. Then perhaps too late we see who or what is in charge. Nature rules on earth. The arts, writing, painting, photography, sculpture, architecture, and social sciences, the study of how people live interrelating within a marked and often contrasting range of cultures across the world, observing laws and standards they believe assist in the maintenance of harmony, and medicine itself, the healing art. These 3, the arts, social sciences, and medicine, all take as their goals preservation, beneficence, the common good, against whatever odds the universe sets at their door. During the time of pandemic, mental health is precarious, and we must make our own games, puzzles, riddles, and poems to keep the wolf of depression from that same door. We see that we are not individuals divine, but one small speck in the universe, only able to survive as part of a community. So we need to protect others to protect ourselves, and vice versa. Probably Shakespeare's most loved poem, Sonnet 18, was written in 1609, and as pointed out in the preface by the editor, Dr. Shyam Sudhakar, it was just a few decades after a devastating bubonic plague swept across Europe, killing almost half of England's population. We face a similar fate, saved only by the thought that medicine is so much more advanced than during the 16th or 17th centuries, so the prospect of an effective vaccine being developed is not unreasonable an expectation. In the meantime, we need to use the arts to entertain each other, to share our love and knowledge. So, to combat a somber mood, which can so quickly overtake us at any unexpected time these days, I'd like to play around with one poem from the book in direct comparison between it and Sonnet 18, Shakespeare's great poem. So I will mix the two, and I hope that the poet for the COVID version is happy with this arrangement to be aligned with Shakespeare himself. The first lines are written by the bard, the second lines by Vasundhara, and the poem is titled, COVID, shall I contempt thee as the planet's bane? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? COVID, shall I contempt thee as the planet's bane? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Thou art wilier and more desperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. Tough times do shake the beaming hearts of men. And summer's lease hath all too short a date, and COVID's curse hath all too short a fate. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. Sometimes you hide the sky of human minds. And often is his gold complexion dimmed, and often art his bold volitions blocked. And every fair from fair sometime declines, and everywhere from far sometimes appears. By chance or nature's changing course untrimmed, by choice or nature's raging curse imposed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, but thy infernal sojourn shall sure fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, or lose precision of that scare thou hast. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, or shall death drag thou plunders by his spade. When in eternal lines of time to time thou growest, when in miserable times to crime thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long as men can fight or eyes can stare, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. No longer wins thee, and this gives life to flare. So apologies to the bard and congratulations to the local poet, Vaishnavi Nair. The poem is not plagiarised, have I got that name right? The poem is not plagiarised, but written in fun and an homage to Shakespeare's great talent. And so it was very clever to have written that poem. I'm saying to that poet, thank you. Let's turn to two more contributions from this remarkable collection. As a former journalist, this piece of flash fiction appeals to me. Breaking news. Dear viewers, we have an interesting piece of news coming in. Lady Macbeth has become the new face of the fight against the deadly COVID-19 after a video of hers went viral in which she's seen washing her hands vigorously for a duration of 15 minutes. An act which clearly challenges the advisory released by the Health Department, which asked the public to wash their hands for 15 to 20 seconds. The video has led to many people following her example, while a few others accused her of spreading panic. Duke Orsino, who was earlier reported to suffer from depression as the countrywide lockdown prevented any contact with his beloved Olivia, tweeted in response to the video. Inspiring, let's keep ourselves safe so that we get to love with a lot more passion once all of this is over. Hashtag miss you, Olivia. Lady Macbeth could not be reached for comments. A poem by Dasana Balachandran. So the second piece of flash fiction I'd like to mention has a series of sources or characters speaking. So here we go. Here's the list, and this is what they say. WhatsApp group, Beware the Ides of March 2020. Anthony, friends, Romans and countrymen, please lend me your sanitizers. Huck, never, we are in a lockdown. Brutus, social distancing is vital. Even Caesar cannot be honourable now. Titania, how do you all pass time? Romeo, parting is sorrow. I am not hobnobbing with Juliet also. I don't wish to die with a kiss. Juliet, I have learned to live with money heist, TikTok and Dalgona coffee. Hamlet, to be or not to be productive is my question. Iago, I am not what I am. I am pretending to be productive at home. Desdemona, I and Othello have pinned our handkerchiefs to our clothes. We are COVID conscious. Orsino, I play music. If music be the food of love, play on. Richard. A horse. I go on horse riding at my backyard. Malvolio. Bored with pajamas, I wear yellow stockings daily. Olivia. Gosh, this is midsummer's madness. Petruchio. I am coexisting with nature by taming the shrew. Hamlet. My father haunts me to wash my hands regularly. Othello. COVID is worse than the green-eyed monster. Stay safe and lie low. King Lear. Come what may, we must emerge out being disciplined, as one touch of nature makes the whole world kin. And that is by Vasundhara G. Sorry if I haven't pronounced the names absolutely correctly, but all great work. In Australia, so far, we've been protected from the worst of the pandemic. With foresight, we closed our national border early, and inhabiting an island, that was easier than for most countries. Still, no nationality can feel entirely safe, as the virus is so unpredictable. We have problems still in one state, Victoria, and now with sterner social distancing and lockdown measures in place, the figures are beginning to drop again. But I feel for India, your people, so resilient in the face of these current infection figures, and I admire those students who have contributed to this collection. Not to laugh in the face of coronavirus, which must be taken seriously, but to show the remarkable spirit of a people who have suffered over generations and still use the appreciation for the arts, spiritual belief, and respect for education to create a place for humour and humanity in the midst of tragedy. Just as Shakespeare could move from depicting the sadness and desperation of the character King Lear, for instance, to the madcap frolics of Puck in Midsummer. I would now like to declare this book, which is dedicated to those who have died from coronavirus, their loved ones, and so many selfless healthcare workers. This book, Shakespeare in the Age of COVID-19, Poems and Flash Fiction by Young Indians. This book, officially launched into the world of literature. May its impact be great as a solace and an entertainment, as well as an aid to a continuing appreciation of the works of Shakespeare.
Last day next.
Thank you.
ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് എങ്ങനെ കാണിക്കാം സംസാരിക്കല്ലേ ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് ഇങ്ങനെ കാണിച്ചിട്ട് പിന്നെ ഞാൻ സെക്രട്ടറി പറയാം. മറ്റേ സ്ക്രീന് ഇടാൻ പറ്റില്ലേ?
Your mic's off. Your mic is turned off.
Yeah.
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Yeah. It's sharing, right? Yeah. Here.
Will we
here
conclude?
We go. Yes. The book is launched officially. So here is the screen.
Please.
Actually, this book is available in the college screen. you should go to the St. Thomas College website and then click on here it is. It is the website will be like this,
Oh, yes,
and
I can
you
see it.
can click on here. Yeah, and you can click
Shall I
on
do
here.
that now or
Book launch.
another time?
No,
Good.
I mean everyone book is already launched, so yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell my students about it, and we might buy some copies online. Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Very pleased.
Yeah. So here is the book. You have to click here online.
Okay, so I'll do that another time, shall I?
Yes, Christine.
Okay, I'll find it. You might just send me the link. Could you send me the link and I'll be able to do that?
Yeah, sure, Christine.
Good. Okay, I'm very pleased to have been involved.
Yes.
That's a great moment of this. We have published a book at this pandemic condition. So thank you so much, ma'am, to your most valuable words and to make our time fruitful. So again, I'm mentioning that our book link will be available in our official college websites. So now it's a time for the end of our session. So now I'd like to welcome Dr. Shyam Sudagar, club coordinator, for the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Christine. It's a happy day, and as you yourself are a publisher, and you know how difficult it is to set a book in this way. Actually, we were planning to do that for quite a long time, and because of this pandemic issues, and we were not able to do something or the other. So we are also planning to have the hard copy of the book soon by the end of this month, hopefully, if everything is okay now, everything goes in the perfect way. So I thank you, Christine, for being here, being present here, and to launch this book. We are so privileged to have you here, Christine. And I would also like to thank the college authorities, I mean the management, especially for their, I mean they themselves, they actually contributed much to make this book a practical thing. So I would like to extend my gratitude to the authorities of the college. And our principal, Dr. K.L. Joy, who was always ready to help the clubs, and he was not just a wonderful human being, but a lover of art. And I extend my gratitude to him for being present here and to be a part of this program. And Father Martin Columbrath, Dr. Andrew Thomas, Dr. M.J. Liju, my colleagues, and my friends who are present here, and I thank them all for being a part of this book and helping me in every way possible. And the next name I would like to mention is Mr. Chandramohan's, and he was very helpful, and he wrote a wonderful preface for this book and an introduction for this book. So thank you, Chandramohan, for being a part of this venture. And Rachel, the student coordinator, actually, I would say she's the whipping girl of the department, because we always depend upon her, and she was really helpful in coordinating all these things, getting emails and replying and assisting me in editing the book, myself and Dr. M. Sevichu in editing the book. So I thank you, Rachel, for your help and support. And especially I thank John's Naduvat for helping us, for giving us the technical support here for this program, to make this venture YouTube Live, because we are all new to this whole program. I mean, this whole structure. And thank you, John, for being a part of this thing. And I would like to extend my gratitude to all the writers, poets, and short story writers who are present here and also who contributed to the book. Without their contribution, this book would have been, not possible. So, thank you all. And the publisher, Manoj Katambali, who owns the Pile Books, and he was very kind. So he was kind enough to publish this book. And thank you, Manoj, for publishing this book. And now I extend my gratitude to all the teaching and my colleagues, teaching members, teaching staff, and the non-teaching staff. And of course, to my students and all those who are present here, thank you all. I wish all the writers a wonderful success. Thank you.